The gaming industry is honestly on a downward spiral. We have seen the most ridiculous things happen due to market conditions, and these things could be attributed to the cost of consoles increasing in price twice in the same generation from both PlayStation and Xbox. Yes, PlayStation raised their console price twice because the Slim model got a price increase as well, not a decrease. That's twice, baby. Get with the program. But also at the fact that we've seen the cost of games go from $60 to $70 in the beginning of the gen, now to $80 at this current stage of the cycle. 5 years in from this new gen, and we've had two price increases, not only in hardware, but also in games themselves. The cost of services has also increased exponentially, with PS Plus increasing its price, and also Xbox Game Pass increasing the pricing as well. This is getting, honestly, to be really out of hand in my opinion, and things are only going to get worse, especially with the news of what we saw yesterday and what next generation is going to hold for the video game industry in its own. Wario64 on Twitter in fact said this: according to The Verge, Xbox dev kits are increasing in price from $1,500 to $2,000. The adjustment reflects macroeconomic developments, saying we remain committed to providing high-quality tools and support for your development efforts. Ah, yes, the tools coming back at it once again. I really don't understand what's in fact happening here. The thing is, though, there has been a lot of information, and dare I even say misinformation, about this entire thing. People have been resorting back to saying, like, no, Xbox is in charge for dev kits, especially if you're in the ID at Xbox program, which is in fact true. If you're a part of ID at Xbox, you don't have to buy a dev kit from Xbox. At the same time, it turns out as well that Xboxes themselves are dev kits, which is even stranger when you think about it. They each have their own developer mode as well attached to it. And everybody losing their mind about this really goes to show that what is even happening right now with Xbox itself. But there's one part in the actual article that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Take a look. The article says, quote, the current Xbox dev kit is moving from $1,500 to $2,000, a 33% jump in price. The adjustment reflects macroeconomic developments, says Microsoft in an announcement to Xbox developers seen by The Verge. We remain committed to providing high-quality tools and support for your development efforts. I asked Microsoft to comment on the price rise, but the company didn't respond in time for publication. And that's really the big problem that I have with this entire thing. The whole thing reeks of kind of just trust me, bro. I saw it. Therefore, it's in fact real. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to discredit what The Verge is doing or what they're saying, because clearly every other outlet also ran with this story. What I'm trying to say is, why wasn't a screenshot of that entire thing written out? Why didn't Microsoft go around and make a statement directly about this entire thing like they normally do with any other kind of price increase? The whole thing really just seemed kind of strange. And at the same time, this really also feels weird, because if you're part of the ID at Xbox program, you get the dev kit for free. And at the same time, from what I've also researched online, your Xbox itself can also be a dev kit. So really, what are they really charging for? But I'm not the only one that had concerns about this entire article or even this price increase happening as well. In fact, developers who used to work for PlayStation said it themselves. Here is the cartel Dell saying this: this isn't a big deal. A large studio might have 50 to 200 kits, but even 75,000 is nothing against a $100 million budget game. A small indie might only need 3 of these max. Nothing will be affected. And in fact, Dell has a pretty good track record of being a game developer. He's a lead artist in Absurd Ventures, professor of arts at BAFTA. He worked at Naughty Dog. He worked at Respawn. He worked at Warner Brothers. He worked at Sega. And he also worked at PlayStation. I think if somebody who's a lead artist and has been a developer for quite some time knows a little bit about what's going on the inside, they might know a little bit about that. Even though they're not on Xbox's whole entire thing, he may have some insight as to what's been going on. The thing is, though, we don't even really know what's happening with this. Could Xbox have raised the prices of the dev kits? Absolutely. I don't even deny that at all. The thing is, though, no one else has been informed, and this entire thing became a massive shitstorm online because everybody decided to go ahead and say Xbox dead once again. You want to pull up the calendar? It's happening almost every day now. It's kind of wild when you think about it. And I think the more comedic part about this entire thing is watching people go ahead and basically just expose who they are in real time. Destin made this tweet earlier on Sunday saying, "Weird, no rumors that Xbox is dead this weekend. Grifters are falling off." And Oliver Draco, of all people who we've shown on this actual kind of content, posted this. "Instead of Sunday, it happened on Tuesday." Ah, yes! Great! So you're literally admitting to everybody that this is just merely a ruse and you guys are just praying for the fall off of a company you don't even like or enjoy. Boy, it's almost as if everybody's just been calling this entire thing out the whole time and all you clowns actually want to do is console war till you're down in the grave. It's really pathetic now, isn't it? And even though we've talked about price increases consistently, I think the real heart of the matter is what's going to be happening for next generation. That, I think, is going to be where the real rubber meets the road in terms of costs and what people are willing to pay for and afford. We've seen the Asus Xbox ROG Ally X cost $1,000 for a handheld. We've seen the PS5 Pro cost $750 for a console. We've seen Xbox hit that same mark and charge even more for their 2TB Series X. And my big concern is that right now, what we're seeing is these consoles are still selling even at this higher price point, and companies are no longer taking a loss on their hardware. They're going through and trying to maximize every penny they possibly can. And that's where I'm really concerned about the entire thing. Once you start hitting the $800 mark in consoles, well, at that point, you might as well get a PC. And why do I say this? Well, it turns out that the other day, Sarah Bond had an interview with Mashable, and things were said about the next upcoming console. Well, if you want to call it that in the first place. Take a look.
So if there was a console that could kind of be a gaming PC and console in one, like that would be helpful for me. I don't know what you can tell us about the next gen console. Any?
Well, I can tell you you're right that the next gen console is going to be a very premium, very high end curated experience. You're starting to see some of the thinking that we have in this handheld, but I don't want to give it all away.
All right, there are a couple of words right there that are honestly scaring the living daylights out of me. Very premium experience is exactly what rings to my mind as this is going to cost you guys a lot of hell of a money. That's what it really says to me. And the thing is, though, it's also the fact that right now we're getting confirmation, basically, that what I said before about the Asus Xbox ROG Ally X being the Wii U for Xbox could be that differentiating factor. This could be the actual beginning test of what Xbox wants to do moving forward for having that platform style like Windows and having that be the, quote, best place to play your games. The thing is, though, pricing is going to be incredibly important. Even though we've seen a lot of consoles cost more money than ever before, things could get really sticky, especially if the rumors going around about it costing $1,000. And honestly, that's where I have a big issue with all of this. Like I said before, consoles are never meant to be the high-end, high-performance set of barriers you have for console gaming or video games in general. They've always been the more affordable option. They've always been there for you to go ahead and be like, hey, here's a good middle ground of hardware that I can use to play my games on and that I can go ahead and afford with a simple ease-of-use access and interface. It's not supposed to be something that is for the high-end. That's what you have PC gaming for. At the same time, though, there is an absolute possible way to make PC gaming far more affordable. You don't always have to buy the super high end. There's a lot of misinformation about that as well. There's a big set of diminishing returns when you're buying that really high end hardware for PC gaming in the first place. But you know what? I don't want to get too far off on the tangent. The big thing, though, is that people are now saying that because those words being sent by Sarah Bond, you may in fact start to see, or the rumor going around is, a $1,000 console, and that may be, I think, a huge issue for Xbox moving forward. Right now, the Xbox ROG Ally X has a big sticker shock of having $999.99, but I think once you cross that threshold into the $1,000 territory, you're looking at like saying, well, why would I even buy that kind of console when I can spend that same amount of money and get far better performance from just having a PC in the first place? That's where things are going to get really sticky, and this could be a way of having a couple of things happen. Number one, creating a far more dedicated user base of people saying, well, I want to go ahead and have my console on there, so I'll spend that money because my library is there. Or two, forcing you into sub-services and subscription services in the first place. I think that's really what is going to be going on. I don't think you're going to be getting a $1,000 console, mostly because of trying to have the best performance of all time, because in the end, these are just simply SoCs. The reason why you're going to be seeing $800 to $1,000 systems instead, in my opinion, is not because they want to go ahead and give you more. It's because they want to push you into being a subscriber to their services, saying, why spend all that money up front? We don't want to spend the money on that R&D. Just stream your games. Use our sub service instead. Everything is an Xbox. And even though that is a great strategy to bring more games to more players, the problem is, though, if Xbox doesn't provide an affordable outlet for a lot of the console users, many will not just simply move over to spending $1,000 because you want to charge that kind of device for it. Hell, it's been even mocked on Twitter, with Kepler posting this image of Phil Spencer saying Microsoft CEO of gaming gives subtle dig at the PS5 Pro price. We're not growing the market with $1,000 consoles. And I feel like that is exactly correct. They're not growing the market with that specifically. What they want to grow instead are your Game Pass subscribers and cloud gamers, or even the handheld versions as well. And I think that's going to be the scary thing moving forward of all. We are moving towards a space where you're going to be seeing less ownership of your games. And the biggest problem that I have right now with everything going all digital is that on the PC side, I can have ownership of all my digital products. Yes, you can. You don't need Steam, you have GOG, and you have other ways of getting around as well. Put on your pirate hat, me boys. We're digging for booty. But some things also concern me as well, especially with the way that Microsoft has in fact been moving. Here's what Windows Central posted the other day as well. Satya Nadella just secured a $96.5 million payday in 2025, the same year Microsoft cut 15,000 jobs. AI may be fueling record revenue, but the human cost is impossible to ignore. There's a reason why I bring up Satya's $96.5 million payday after they cut 15,000 jobs over the year and at the same time raised the cost of their consoles twice, raised the cost of Game Pass 50%, and then offered you less over time while also getting ratioed completely on their own video. This wasn't about market conditions. That was an absolute lie and a farce. This was simply about getting Satya a bigger payday, every other CEO. You know what? Here's a great idea, Microsoft. If you guys want to be so bullish on AI and you want to save a bunch of money, then my recommendation is to do this. Use AI to replace all the CEO seats that you have listed in there that you're paying out for $96.5 million for. You'll save far more money cutting them than you will cutting the actual 15,000 jobs on your payroll. But with all that being said, I feel like next gen is going to be insane with everything going on. We've seen rumors with Kepler online saying things like he expects the PS6 to cost $600 and the next Xbox to be $1,000, where this entire rumor has been coming from, about a $1,000 console. The thing is, though, nobody in fact truly knows. And in my personal opinion, I really feel like PlayStation is not going to try and take a loss on anything. And a $600 console right now, yeah, that actually sounds a lot better than what we've been seeing with the Xbox ROG Ally X handheld price. But the problem is this: I really feel like PlayStation does not want to take a loss on that system either, or sell hardware at a loss anymore. They want to make profit at every conceivable aspect. And I think, in my personal opinion, they're not going to shoot less than what the PS5 Pro costs, because that would simply just diminish what the actual PS5 Pro does in the first place. I mean, think about it logically, though. Let's really put it to its paces. Why would PlayStation charge less for a product that performs better over their elite flagship PS5 Pro for a less price? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If you have a product that performs better than your previous generation, you're probably going to want to charge more. Hell, even Sean Layden said it himself. Things should cost more every generation. And in my opinion, I really can't see a space where PlayStation would take a hit on their hardware, especially seeing as how, even after the console price increases, people are still buying that hardware as well. But I think this is all for naught. I think the console gaming space is falling into the same cycle that PC GPUs are falling into, especially the ones that Nvidia makes directly. And we've seen a lot of buzz about that $1,000 price tag with the new Xbox console, and this is honestly where it came from. According to PlayStation Universe, the PS6 price could end up being half the cost of the next-gen Xbox, suggests Hardware Insider. with the article saying, quote, "The comments came in the wake of Xbox Sarah Bond confirming that Microsoft has plans for a very premium, high-end curated experience in regards to its next home console. When asked about the price of PlayStation 6 compared to the new Xbox, the insider, Kepler, stated it'll likely be a case of $600 versus $1,200 is my guess." Pressed to explain the large difference in price, Kepler added 42% more silicon, 20% more memory, higher board cooling costs, plus they can't subsidize the hardware with third-party store support. Now, Kepler Online has been very consistent about hardware in the future, especially on the PC side and console space as well. The thing is, though, this is just his guesstimation about what's been going on. And of course, you can clearly see everybody just running to the gallows with this information and facts of what's been happening. I honestly don't know what we're going to be seeing for next generation, but I can definitely go ahead and bet my sweet Bippy that we're going to see next gen cost a lot more money than we're actually expecting, and things could end up being far more expensive than we'd actually want. The age of the console being the affordable option compared to the high-end PC gamer is no longer going to be a factor. You're going to be sitting on a level playing field. The problem is, though, if you're going to be in that space, why even spend that same kind of money on a console when you can get a PC, not pay for online, and get everything else you need directly up front without any issues whatsoever? And I think that's going to be where people are going to be looking forward to as well. And personally, in my personal guess, I do not think that what we're going to be seeing with the PlayStation 6 being that much more affordable than what we're seeing right now. Why do I say that? Well, if the PS5 Pro costs $750, why on earth would PlayStation sell their PS6 at a loss in the first place? They're not selling their PS5 or PS5 Pro at a loss now. In fact, they raised the price on those devices. So why on earth would they go through and lower the price of their next generation flagship console below what they're charging right now for their high-end Pro model? It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. My guess is they probably either charge the same or maybe even a little bit more. But who knows exactly what will happen until these things come out and they're announced with the actual pricing. And honestly, I am bracing for the actual worst on both sides. We're seeing GPUs cost an exorbitant amount of money into the $2,000 price range and not performing where they should. We're now seeing consoles potentially, possibly hit the $1,000 mark, and we're seeing handhelds hit that as well. And gaming is going to be far more expensive than it ever has been in the first place. And that is incredibly terrifying because that could really bring the entire thing crumbling down. But anyways, I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments section down below. Would you be willing to pay $1,000 for a console? Or are you going to say, forget it, I'll just get myself a PC instead and not have to do any of that other hoopla and hootenanny as well? So I want to hear what you guys have to say. If you want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 96K, and I just want to say thank you guys so very much. If you want Discord access or most during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just show up Saturday nights at 8:45 p.m. Eastern live on this channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted by 800 people with AITTS. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. With all that being said though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!